Now, revolutionary greetings once again, comrades. It's once again a pleasure to have you with us as we almost gear towards the end of this year. And we are grateful for your presence. We are grateful for your participation in the last one year. We've been consistent to look at the topics of Africa unification as a class, conscious and study group. We've discussed and touched on various topics. We've hosted various speakers ranging from the aspect of spiritual aspect, political aspect, economic aspect, IT, technology, and AI. We've examined so many activities and events that have been going on in the continent over the last 1 year. We have looked at issues with the young protests in the continent, Nigeria, even it was the Bangladesh issue. We've hosted various sessions in regards to, of course, commemorating Nkrumah Earth Day. We've had African Liberation Day. And all along this year has been, of course, a year where we've looked at various issues surrounding the Africa and the African people, both from the continent and outside the continent. We have conversation with our friends and brothers from the Caribbean and those who are within the continent as well. So yes, as we come to an end again of towards this Saturday unification for 2024, I want to look back at key activities and events that have been taking place in the continent, look at them critically. So actually today, we are gathered here not merely to reflect, but also to forge a path towards the total liberation, unification, and development of Africa and Africans outside the continent and those in the continent. This is actually a meeting where we have actually to strategically convene and see how we can commit to a radical transformation of the continent. As you know, we are standing at a pivotal moment. There are so many uprisings that we've seen in the continent that signal actually a deep yearning for change, a rejection for neocolonial shackles, and we will have to engage with various people. Some will be joining us as we move along, those who have been activists on the ground, those who have participated and given their life on the front line to agitate for issues in the continent, those who have worked from social media aspect, and those who have coordinated various issues. Our key question is actually, what does it take to push for the liberation and unification of Africa on the ground and physically? And what are the mechanisms we can use to sustain the push as we move along to year 2022 and amplify the 2025 and amplify the discussions and the taking forward the agenda of Pan-African and moving forward? We'll be looking, of course, some of the issues that have taken place in top key news. What happened in Kenya, what happened in South Africa, what happened in Malawi, Mozambique, what's going on currently, Niger, we've seen what's going on in Sahel, in Nigeria, what's going on in Sudan, in Congo. There have been so many news that we've come across. So it's time actually we have to look at radical ways to reimagine the African future, being cognizant of so many things that are at play, and how can we actually have a totally liberated, totally united, and totally developed Africa. So once again, comrades, feel most welcome. It's a pleasure to see all of you. Of course, as I've said before, your brother Howard Gale here with us. Feel most welcome. Howard Gale, of course, I've known him from football and a legendary footballer from Liverpool. We have brother Kama Chunde from Zambia. We have brother Nkrumah Kafara from Tobago and Trinidad. And we have our own chair, brother Kwame Christian Agoza. Brother Kwame, feel most welcome, and may you take the place to start off the conversation and also invite the members officially as the chair of the class. Brother Kwame?
Yes, Brother Pigeon. Yes, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to our Saturday class, where we discuss issues to do with the unification, development, and total liberation of Africa. And our topic for today, by the way, unification of Africa is our staple for every Saturday, around which we discuss issues that are related to the unification of Africa. And today we have the issue of youth uprisings, and that is what we are going to be discussing. Youth uprisings are a notable feature of world political economy. We will recall South Africa in 1976, Egypt in 2011, Tunisia in 2010-2011, Most recently, Senegal, the anti-government protests, Kenya, 2024, Reject Finance Bill 2024, Ghana 2024 economic reform protests, then Mozambique, which Brother Pigeon has mentioned. In Asia, there was the anti-corruption and anti-rape protests. In Bangladesh, we witnessed, and I made a presentation on that the CIA was involved, as it is involved in some of these uprisings, make it appear that they are natural or they are normal to the society. There is a Nepal 1979 student protest, Hong Kong 2019 to 2020, China 2022 COVID-19 protests. In the Middle East, we saw the Arab Spring, which has been said the CIA was behind. Iran 2022 Maasha Amini protest, Palestine, the second Intifada. In Europe, we saw the anti-Milosevic protests in the 1990s. In the UK, the 2010 student protests against austerity measures. In Italy, 2010 student protests against education cuts. In Czechoslovakia, the Velvet Revolution of 1989. All these youth uprisings. In North America, the civil rights movements, we shall recall, of the 1960s, the Kent State University protests of 1970, the Parkland protests, gun control movement in 2018, and then the Black Lives Matter recently from 2020 onwards. In terms of global movements, we've seen the climate strike inspired by the Greta Thunberg issue. There is a global climate strikes in 2019. Now, most recently in 2024, we're all aware of the Mozambique, or we know, or have heard, or haven't heard, of the Mozambique protests against election results in Maputo. I've mentioned before, the Kenya Reject Finance Bill 2024. There is a Senegal nationwide anti-government protests that challenged the delay of presidential elections. And then there was demonstrations in Ghana demanding economic reform. Then in Gaza, we are aware of the peaceful protests against the war in Gaza, demonstrating international solidarity. And young people are at the heart of this in America. Young people, students have been on campuses demonstrating. So we cannot ignore the youth. They are the future. And global movement. So in terms of global movement, because youth power movement, we lead summits. The Youth Power Summit was a global gathering of young leaders advocating for youth leadership in shaping global policies, because the youth feel left behind. And we know that there are laws in place in different countries in Africa that restrict the youth from taking part in presidential elections. The youth are told that they are not old enough to be presidents, even though they can vote from 19. And some people are not happy about that. Then we've got the We Lead Summit, which is a youth-led initiative in Nairobi, Kenya, focusing on combating gender-based violence. Then there are also the Democracy Moves, a youth-led movement conducting research on democratic erosion worldwide. So, in a nutshell, you can see that a lot is happening on the youth movement. And today we are going to discuss youth uprisings, keeping our focus, as we always do, on what it means for the unification of Africa. Will the unification of Africa, will it require youth uprising across the continent? Is it the case that if the youth rise up across the entire continent, that is one way in which the struggle for unification can happen? If the youth don't get involved in calling for Africa's unification, will it happen? I think those are some of the legitimate questions that we can discuss today. So thank you for coming. We have with us Brother Howard, Brother Nkrumah, Kafra, we haven't seen you for a long time, Brother Nkrumah, welcome. Mazen, Dakar, CD, Brother Kama, and Pigeon. So yeah, so today is 28th. We are still in the festive season. So we are happy to have you. We are not expecting too many people because it's the festive season. People are just, some of them are relaxed with their families and so on and so forth, and they don't want to be part of any of these things. So thank you for those of you who have come. Let's proceed. Brother Pigeon, how do we proceed with this?
Now, I'll do a bit of, because I was expecting some activists who will be joining us a bit, but I'll give a case study of what has been especially experienced on the ground in regards to some of us who have gone out to try to join this part of protest, and perspectively from our look at it moving forward. Then we can open the conversation for members to share their input and their thinking, because basically we want to look at how do we sustain the move, and as you say also, how do we examine and see the impact, or whether does it answer to as a one means towards attaining what you want. If not, then how do we look forward to improve and improvise it as we move forward to 2025? It will be an open conversation to listen also to the at least those who have experience of struggles in the continent, bearing in mind bringing the younger generation and the a bit older generation to combine and share experience and actually knowledge on how do we push forward. So these are conversations that bring across both generations together to sit and discuss on the practical ways forward to ascertaining what you want based on the situations currently. So I'll just do some small talks on that, and then I'll be okay.
Okay, so you have a presentation prepared, or?
Not in terms of PowerPoint, actually.
Okay, PowerPoint presentation.
No, I didn't prepare PowerPoint. I was only inviting guests to come and speak, but I'll speak on this often.
Yes, you've invited. Are they here?
None of them has joined. I've just sent a reminder for them to be part of this.
All right, excellent. So hopefully they will join us soon. And if they don't, we carry. Okay. Welcome, Victor. Victor Otieno, welcome. Okay, Brother Pigeon will share some thoughts with us, and then we'll open the floor for questions and the discussions. And if those who have prepared presentations join us, we'll ask them to share with us. Thank you. So, Brother Pigeon, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kwame, and greetings to all of you once again. Yes, actually, as it is, this year has been actually, especially the year 2024, has seen a lot of activities, as Brother Kwame has actually clearly bring the history of events that have taken place, and just reminding us and putting in context that whatever goes on or whatever is happening this year is not unique. And neither is it all in the continent, but there's also global uprising of the younger people across the continent. Just to put some of this into context, I'll share a bit of what has been going on in Kenya and what I've also been exposed to some parts of the continent across. So this year actually started with 17 elections that were taking place in the year 2024. We did an analysis of those elections in an early year. We saw many elections that took place from South Africa, elections that took place in Senegal, and many other countries in Africa, including Rwanda. The year has also experienced, as we look at it in various news aspects, it has also experienced many youth uprisings. And that will be what I'll be speaking to a bit in regards to Kenya. And from my thinking and my analysis, having been actually interested in politics a bit, and engage in some of the protests in the country, Kenya. I went for various physical protests in the cities in the country. I'm more interested on the root causes, because if we analyze the root causes of some of these activities, we can actually see the actions and judge the actions whether they were properly matched towards addressing the causes, and we can also look back and say whether did we attain the goal based on the actions that were taken. So, if you look at the majority of the protests that has taken place in the continent, and even the ongoing one, because we realize that there is a serious problem going on in Mozambique as we currently speak, Many people are protesting against the election results. Businesses are being burned down. People are being hunted and later killed by the state. So there's a violence going on in Mozambique as we speak today, caused by elections. In other parts of the continent, like in Senegal, there were no violence, but we saw the new president elected in. Of course, there were protests prior towards the election, but we saw there was a peaceful mode of transition to a new president, especially they call the younger president also part of it in Senegal. So in one way or the other, the younger people have also been able to get, it's not that young, but have been also been able to get opportunity to get into the leadership of Africa using means of democratic means like in Senegal. In Kenya, many young people came out, and I want to read the psychology of young people like myself and out of the actions that took place in Kenya. In Kenya, many young people came out when government, of course, as has been said, touched on some taxations, and that should be underlined that the key issue that caused a lot of young people protests in Kenya was based on taxation, and taxations that were put on a financial bill that was then to help government raise funds to sustain its budget. These taxations, some of them touch on the young people's source of income, like there were taxation on digital content. And you know that many young people have gone to digital space having failed to get more of the so-called collar jobs or the office jobs due to other government creating less opportunity for that. But I don't think the younger people either are not willing to pay digital tax because they make money out of that, but they didn't find it justifiable enough for the government to put taxation on some of their digital content, especially content creators, those who are doing online jobs, and many of them. There are also taxations that are touching on the baby and women items, especially the baby pampers and diapers. And many young people, even ordinary citizens today in this continent, those who are bringing, my younger generation that are bringing up children, the children have to use the so-called pampers or diapers, almost in every family, because the old type when we used to be wrapped in some polythene and you'll be given some other napkins and you can walk away, it's no longer that practice in Africa. So today we use more of the diapers and pampers in the village. The government was trying to put taxation on that. This actually angered many people beyond women, and even the younger generation who are finding the pain of raising a family, also to enjoy taxes that could not allow them even to buy those basic things for their kids. There were also, the taxes on pampers were being levied on what you call eco-levy, environmental or whatever they call levy for environmental protection. But the people couldn't understand why government put a tax on a basic need that they have to provide to their kids in the name of environmental levy and environmental taxation. Other thing on the women's sanitary pads, actually, or the sanitaries for women, was also something that struck a lot of protests from women, and many women were engaged in this protest because the government could go extra mile to try to put heavy taxation on women's sanitary towels for their basic and natural experience that they go through. Women do not find this justifiable in any way for the government to tax such. Well, of course, some of them could claim that the sexual protective gears are sold for free, while the protectives that they have to use for their natural systems or periods are actually have to be taxed heavily. So these are part of also what made many women protest in this country. Of course, bad governance was part of it, but it was not the key issue. So we saw the president succumbing to the pressure and actually call back or call out that taxation, so things move on okay. But there has been a recent protest that's still going on in the country. It's not protest but activism, and this is also touch on the role of AI that we had last time. The younger people in Kenya have come out very innovatively again to try to criticize this government, because they are trying to express their anger and dissatisfaction with the government in any means possible. So they are going to do some sellouts, some posters, some AI graphics to express how the government is corrupt and run badly. Some have gone extra mile actually to even draw pictures of a president in a coffin, the current president, just to wish the president to be dead, which is actually considered to be treason according to the penal code of the Kenyan constitution. Some have gone extra mile to put various dirty, they call them dirty pictures to criticize the government and the president himself. And in this recent week and from last week, tensions have been uprising in this country, where the government has gone out to actually arrest those young people, those who are using AI to generate some other pictures that are going on. I know Carrington can speak much to this, but there are people who have been using now AI and
I've lost the sound.
Brother Pigeon, I think he may have experienced connection difficulties. I think he's rejoining. So Brother Pigeon is sharing with us the state of the youth uprising as he has witnessed it from the perspective of Kenya. So that's what he was sharing with us before he dropped out. So as soon as he returns, we shall proceed. I'm happy for us to hear from any of us here. If you were already going to present, then perhaps you can do that now. If you were invited to present. So let me just ask Brother the King, Sister Shaza, welcome. Brother the King, welcome. Revolutionary Mankuyo, welcome. And Mazen Daka, welcome once again. Yourself, Brother Howard, it's good to see you again. Yeah, Brother Kama is also now rejoining. And then, yeah, Brother Nkrumah Kafra, welcome. We haven't seen you for a long time. Yeah, so whilst we are waiting for Brother Pigeon to come back, let's open the floor for some discussions. Please feel free to share with us your thoughts on what is happening to the youth across Africa. Brother Howard, do you have anything to share on the situation of the youth?
Yes, it's a problem that we've had for hundreds of years, and that problem with Africa is economics. Is that there is so much wealth and that's been taken out of the country, whereas people are still living in a third world within that continent. And it's a question of how do we link up with our families, our culture in Europe and in America. Again, all the things that we make and we sell in Africa, we should be selling them to our own people. Also, again, is that Africa has got 11 months of the year that is full of sun. Yeah, Europeans and Americans are going to places in Europe to holiday instead of going back to Africa to spend your money. That way, economically, Africa is going to benefit from it. But it's trying to change that narrative. Again, I live here in Liverpool in the UK, and I see the influence of what the white man has over the culture here, but also in Africa. And this is something that we have to be wary of, because what he does, he gives to one and doesn't give to the other. And this is what creates the divide amongst us, amongst our countries and our nations in Africa. So it's a question of how we can build from the future by learning no, I wouldn't say the mistakes, by learning the things that have happened to us in the past. And Africa, again, needs that support of its fellow Africans around the planet. We need to be going to Africa to spend our money. There's so many, again, initiatives there. And again, I'm not just talking about tourism, I'm talking about business as well. All the foods that I eat in Liverpool come from Africa. But I have to go to places like Tesco's and the Asda to get them. These are white companies. So why don't we set up our own companies and we buy from each other and we control it? That way we grow. We grow as a culture. But we all know again what our place is and what our devour is to that culture.
Yeah, Brother Howard, thank you for raising these issues. No doubt we shall discuss them further. The question, thank you for raising them. Then the question then is, in terms of youth, what role do youth uprisings have in addressing some of the issues that Brother Howard is talking about? What are our youth doing about it? It's not just having political power that the youth should be interested in, although that's important. It's also the other issues. Brother Pigeon is back, so I would like you to continue and finish what he was saying, if he's able to. And then Brother Nkrumah, I noticed you wanted to say something. Are you able to hold until Brother Pigeon is finished?
Yeah, I will hold.
Or do you want to just follow up on Brother Howard? Yeah. Okay. Which one is it?
If I can make a quick statement.
Of course you can.
Brother
Pigeon, you'll continue your presentation once Nkrumah has finished. Yes, Brother Nkrumah.
Yes, the brother indicated that economics is our main problem, right?
Yes.
Something I definitely disagree with, in that I'm not saying economics is not a problem at all. However, economics is attributed to slavery. And once we play by their rules, it's their economic system. It is their political systems that we follow. It is their holidays that we celebrate. They pull all the strings, and we will just be fighting up within their system. Their system is rigged for their benefit. Okay? The benefit of the Western world.
Yeah. So Nkrumah, it's great. So if you just hold those thoughts, let's hear from Brother Pigeon, and we'll come back to these matters. Although in fairness to Brother Howard, I think he's raising the issue of economic liberation.
Yes.
How to liberate ourselves from the very systems that you are mentioning. I think that's what he was trying to point out. Brother Howard, isn't that right?
Yes, it's talking about again the economic wealth.
Yes, so it's going
like in my sport, in football. When you look around the world, the best players in all the leagues around the world are black and from African or the African descendants. They don't really want in the future, when they look on their TV, that 22 players are all black. They don't want to be seeing that. But that is they are the facts. There's a steady drain coming out of Africa into European football, where they're taking all the resources from Africa and placing them in, or using them in their leagues.
Yeah, but Howard, hold those thoughts. Hold those thoughts. Interesting though, they hold them. Brother Nkrumah has held his. I was just trying to make the point that I think what you are interested in is the economic liberation, which was meant to be the second phase of political liberation, which hasn't happened. I think that's the point you were trying to make. So Brother Nkrumah is right in the point he makes, that we are still within the old neo-colonial system, which we need liberation from. I think that's the point you were making. So hold your thoughts. Let's go to Brother Pigeon. Let's hear him. Let him finish his presentation, and then we'll take these matters up in the context of the youth uprising. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I do recognize, sorry for getting out a bit, I do recognize and appreciate the efforts, because of the contributions. As I've raised, the taxation was basically part of putting economic pain to the citizens of our country. And if the younger people and women could have enough financial potential or ability, they could protest against some of the taxations. But as to go ahead is that the current regime now in this protest, where we are seeing so many young people going to the digital, and we have to explore the value of digital technology or IT like now they're using it to criticize the government, as you had asked, Brother Kwame, is how can we leverage on the same digital technology and AI to promote African liberation and unification? If we could be painting the white men and putting them in those so-called the coffins to walk away, and the IMF, so that they could send message to them clearly to walk away and get off our continent, it could be something we need to explore the potential that's coming in terms of the younger people creativity and innovation. And the thing that I learned from my fellow younger people is that there are people who actually will not sit down to listen to your so-called experience. There are young people who are very courageous, they are very bold, and they care less, or they care about nothing. Because some people will say that the younger people were in the street, as they were saying, because they have nothing to lose. In fact, they wrote it in the street, we have nothing to lose. So we are ready to give it to ourselves so that we can fight for our country. So the courage I see in the younger people, the boldness in the younger people, the innovation and the information they have in terms of knowledge of using IT can be converted properly to push for what they think the African liberation and unification, and could actually unite the whole continent in a way to push against neo-colonial oppression in terms of economic liberation and political liberation of the continent. It can also be used in a proper way to see how we can push for the unification of the continent. Having said that, I must also give the tactics of the neo-colonial masters and their puppets. My friend Comrade Mankuyo is with me here. Comrade Julius Kamau has not been able to join us so far, but I've been trying to reach out to him. But Comrade Mankuyo is with me here. These are part of the comrades who have been arrested severally by this regime, and this regime has not only arrested our younger people, they have gone to extra mile of torturing our younger people, which is actually again the constitutional right of the Kenyan Constitution, Article 25 of the Constitution. The regime has also met us with the critical abduction. Some levels we have been killed, so many young people have been killed, and not only in Kenya. If you check the uprising even in Nigeria and everywhere else, the younger people have been killed in the front line, and therefore the regime is a regime that is oppressive, and the system is so oppressive, and daring to do all that it takes to ensure that they sustain their mechanism. One thing we've also learned in the recent protests in Kenya as well, the whole political class have come together. Both the oppositions and the former politicians, the so-called dynasties, have also gang up together. And they're now forming their unity, like in the South Africa when they call Grand Government of National Unity. There's unity within the people who have actually thrived in this neo-colonial system, and they're uniting to combine their resources and their finances so that they can actually block the younger generation, the voices that are coming for change, to remove them, because basically their life and their blood life have been depending on that neo-colonial system that they've been using to advance their welfare and enrich themselves. So this is also a thing we are learning, not only in Kenya but across the continent as well, in how the regimes are acting and collaborating. Another thing we have seen also with these protests from my side of view is that they have also been able to buy some of the revolutionary forces. Even in the struggle for activism and revolution, some people were so revolutionary, like in Kenya, there's a young man called, who is known very well as Kasmuel, who was vocal enough and speaking eloquently about the revolution. He was actually taken over by the opposition and joined the government side and the opposition side. In fact, last Sunday, he was the one who was now inviting the president to the church. We've also seen the church coming in clearly in this protest. In one way, they were actually calling out the government for stopping to be liars, and they were calling the government to act in a proper way and actually value the welfare of the people. Even now that the young people have been arrested and detained, of course, some churches have come out to speak about this. The president and the regime have been trying to corrupt the churches, but we realize some churches even decided to return the tithes that the president gave to the church. They returned it. And they told the president that they want the state to be very proper. But we must see all these people and the forces playing together to actually analyze the potentials of partnership and collaborations that might be needed to now advance a bigger thing beyond the country issue, but to the continental and the global issue in regards to what is ailing the African continent. But generally, we have also not been able to see a bigger Pan-African talks in various protests that have been going on. People have only been pushing for liberation of their country, like Kenya, Mozambique, Malawi, or Nigeria, or even Sierra Leone, or Senegal, or even Sahel. Once the Sahel get whatever they want, people are happy. They forget about the entire continental scope of a need to push for a proper Pan-Africanism. I've been able to do my bit of trying to print out some of the booklets that I was taking in the streets, sharing with the people, talking beyond the economic and the financial implication in the country, to send a message on Pan-Africanism, messages on reparations, messages on unification, and many people were taking the booklets. They were enjoying and they were going home with them. Some of them could support someone to say, oh, print more booklets so that we can take it home to educate our people. So I also see this is part of the means we can use to take the minds of the younger people and the people of various countries, that the problems we face in various countries are interconnected. That interconnectedness is missing within the mentality of many young people or many people. They think that our problem is only our problem. But if you check the neighboring country like Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, they almost go through the same problem. So until we reach the level of raising the consciousness of people so that they can not only use their innovation, their courage and their boldness to fight only for a country problem, but amplify this and fight for a whole continental scope, I think that's the way also we need to look at it. But another thing, towards the end of this, we also need to look at the sustainability of some of the people who are pushing for these struggles, like the activists. One of the guys who was to gain us, Comrade Kamau, has actually been an activist in the street for so long in the country, but there's an organization that actually contributed and donated for him some amount that he was able now to set up a business where he sells some things in the city. So he is also able to get his source of income and sustainability, so that anytime he goes out to the street, at least when he comes back, he has something he can be selling and sustain his family and himself. And also the legal department, the lawyers, the progressive lawyers and civil societies have also been coming out actually to defend those who are fighting for the rights of the citizens. And this is also something we can maybe capitalize on to see how we can tap to the network of global solidarity in case there's anything going on. Because like in Kenya, the push for releasing those people who have been abducted has been very vocal in the Twitter until the government is threatened and fearful to release them. This is part of the pressure that we must learn the tactics to see how we can push and advance them to the global or the continental push for what we need as liberation, unification, and development. In the cases of killings in Kenya, the people on Twitter, like in Kenya, decided even to send evidence directly to ICC. And some are sending them even to some other courts, that this is the clip, this is what the police officer did, this is what they killed so and so, and they're doing research and background information on police officers or government officials who are supporting the abduction. They even lose the names of their family, their children, where they stay, where they worship. They try to still fear to these leaders so that they are responsible. And this is also something we can maybe look at and how see how we can also still fear and push for more people who are actually looting the continental resources so that they can be afraid and also can walk away and back off from the continent, including the presidents and their family. So in a nutshell, I'm just saying that there's all these angles in terms of sustainability. Some people, the struggle that the activists go in the street, the solidarity that they need, and also the courage and the potential of the younger people. And they have actually proved this through various uprisings that have been going on. They only need some level of linking, interconnection, and improvement so that we can have a continental-wide scope of a coordinated push that might then help us achieve what we want in a Pan-African scope and Pan-African goal. So I'll have to stop here a bit and then allow other people also to go ahead and give their input as well. Thank you very much, Brother Kwame.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Pigeon. Have those you invited to present, any of them here, because you know them?
We have Comrade Mankuyo from Kenya who has been detained several times with this regime. So Mankuyo can maybe, if he can give maybe 5 or 10 minutes experience based on your guidance, Chair.
Yes. Well, if you've invited him to present, then let's hear what he has to say.
Comrade Mankuyo, can you be able to share with us the experience of your activism and Pan-Africanism on the ground? I know Comrade Julius Kamau has not been able to join us. Maybe you can confirm also his whereabouts.
Yeah. Greeting family, greeting Black people, greeting Africans, greeting Pan-African. So these are Comrade Sayolel Mankuyo. Thank you so much, Comrade Pigeon, for inviting me to this noble discussion, because it's a noble discussion, because it's rare, mostly here in Kenya, to hear or to hear anyone talking about Pan-Africanism or even having this kind of a discussion, Pan-Africanism discussion. So first of all, I'm Sayolel Mankuyo, and many people in this platform. Some people knows me, because this is not the first time to join a CSG meeting. So I can say that I've been a political prisoner, because I think if you have been arrested maybe by the Trump regime because of protesting against the state, then you are a political prisoner. And even according to the law of Kenya, if you have been arrested because of demonstrating against the country or the current system, the current regime or any regime, then you are a political prisoner. So I think also I'm a political prisoner because I'm having some cases, or I have a case in court, and also I have others in the Directorate of Criminal Investigation with the police, whereby I've been summoned severally. And I've been summoned not because I've stolen something. I've been summoned because I'm fighting for my rights, and also I'm fighting for the rights of people of Kenya. So I think everybody knows what the struggle, what it takes for the struggle to happen, or what it takes for the revolution to happen. For example, you have undergone a lot of psychological torture, even physical torture, and even those cases. Because, for example, you can even be told, come to next week. Maybe you are not in Nairobi, you are far, you are at home, or you are even far. You don't have resources to come to Nairobi at that particular day. So maybe sometime it becomes strange for you to go to Nairobi, and also sometime even the date itself. Sometimes they complicate the day because they can say that even today, the police, not even the police, the complainer is not in court, so you'll be given a new date. So you can see how these people waste time. So, but we know those are the cards that are usually being played by the state, not only in Kenya, but I think also across the world. Those are the cards that the state usually use. So those are the problems that we have been experiencing going to court, and also you found that the complainer is not in the court, and also sometimes they say that we have not yet received the evidence. Today is the hearing. So for example, I have a case that we did a protest. We organized for a protest, but we did a protest, but I was summoned. So I was told it was on August. So I was summoned at the place called Central Police Station. So I went there, and they wrote their sheet because they were questioning me. They wrote a lot of things about me. So they said that we are organizing for unlawful assembly, we are hate speech at the same time. So and I think you know what they quote. So for now, I've been told to go back on date 7th this month. So you can see, and probably for now I'm at home. And also I have another case that will come on February. The one that we went to disrupt the Kenya budget, and budgets was being ready. It will come on date 11th February. So those are the challenges that we are experiencing, and even psychological torture. Because if you remember, you have a case in court, you have to go tomorrow. Maybe you have you want to do something, or you wanted to go somewhere else, but you are being told to go to court. So those are the problems that we are experiencing as well. And also, I also like to unite with whatever your comrade Pigeon are just saying. Like I'm a Pan-African. I can't say that I'm a human rights defender here in Kenya, but I'm not I can't even say that I'm a human rights defender. I'm a Pan-African. So what I've seen is that many people, for example, in the Sahel region, in Mozambique, in Kenya, the only thing that I saw in Kenya, I saw a Uganda flag. I saw 3 flags during the Kenya protest. When you were in the street, I saw the Uganda flag. Few came with the Uganda flag. Others came with a Russia flag. Those are the only flag that I saw. Those are the only foreign flags that I saw. The Russia flag and also the Uganda flag. So I was expecting people to take the RBG flag. I was also expecting people to take the Ethiopia, the one that the Rastafarian usually use, the Ethiopia flag. But unfortunately, I've not seen. So I think it is more important for us to conscientize our people, or even for us who are here. For example, when someone took the street, and that is the reason why I bought a Congolese flag. So nowadays, in case I go to protest, I go with Congo flag and Kenya flag to show the solidarity with the people of Congo. I also have a solidarity. I also have what do you call the RBG flag, but it's not yet clear. I think PG know, because I think that we printed the flag on the same very day, so we did get a good material. But it's not so bad. But I have it. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that I've never seen a Kenyan even talking the street and also having those Africa flags like Uganda, like Congo, Sudan, Mozambique. And even in Mozambique, I've not seen them raising any flag to show their Pan-African solidarity, because I think that's what we mean by Pan-African solidarity, not just talking, but if you go to the street, you think about Africa, you show the Pan-Africanism spirit that is in you. So those are the problems that are, those are the things that I've seen recently, based on the Kenya struggle in connection with the Pan-Africanism. And as well, also, I can see that many people, for example, I saw Mozambique, they also saw, there is a group that came out when they were protesting, and also they said that they are tribeless, and also they are partyless, and also they are leaderless. So I think we led the current revolution that is now currently happening in Mozambique, and also the revolution that happened also in Nigeria, because when the Nigerians saw Kenya took the street, a lot of them, plenty of them, they also took the street. And also, I think everybody knows that there were some few months on October, there were protests in Nigeria. In September, there were protests in Nigeria as well. And the same thing to Mozambique, because I've talked with some friends who are in Mozambique, Pan-African friends who are in Mozambique, and they have said that we are following the Kenya way. But I think for us, I feel like we have failed the continent and also the sub-Saharan countries, because we were supposed to remove William Ruto from the power, colonial caretaker William Ruto from the power. But unfortunately, we stopped from there. But I can't say that we will stop forever from there. I hope that I will further. Yesterday, I think from Pidgin has just seen, yesterday we were in the media, we were addressing some of the few people who were addressing the media, activists, and also people who with the missing people, because a lot of people have been abducted here in Kenya now. William Ruto is abducting people. If you post any photo, because there's this technology whereby people are making William Ruto photos. They are creating William Ruto when William Ruto is in casket. So those videos are really, really trending on X, because X has been an avenue for us to organize for a protest or to criticize anything about the state or any matter that is affecting the public. We usually use the X space, Twitter, app that called Twitter. So basically, a lot of people, around 4 people have posted the photos of William Ruto when he was inside the casket. So they were arrested up to date. It is now 1 week. Others, we have seen others from the CCTV being abducted, but we are asking the police, who is abducting these people? The state is moving away from the abduction. William Ruto himself have just came out clearly and said that it is not the state that is abducting people. So we have been asking, who is abducting these people? The Constitution of Kenya guarantees every citizen security, but it is quite unfortunate that we even have the CCTV. We have a lot of CCTV when those 4 brothers were being abducted, but they are saying that they can't trace where they are. Their phone are off. So who is abducting them? It's not the and also they are popular cars that they use. We call it Subaru. So I don't know if Subarus. I don't know. I think Subaru companies, motor vehicle companies are there. So they use Subaru to abduct people. So now we have seen the Subaru. It is the same Subaru that are abducting people. Subaru is the vehicle that are used by the investigation authorities here in Kenya, just like the FBI or Mossad. Yeah. So we call here in Kenya Directorate of Criminal Investigation DCI. So they are using those cars to abduct people, and if they abduct you, they will not produce you in court. They'll go and take you to a certain place that they know they will torture you. They'll do what they will hold you even for 30 days, because we have 3 brothers who have been held for 30 days. So even now, 4 people are nowhere to be. Nobody knows their whereabouts. So the abduction continue, and William Ruto and even his allies, they are coming out clearly in the media and say that they don't know where these people, where they are, and they don't know who is abducting the people. So, and remember, there's a critical point. Nobody can be abducted without, though everybody who have been abducted, it must to be someone who have criticized the state. A lot of them have posted on Twitter, and those are the only people who have been abducted. Someone who have never posted, they have never been abducted. So that is a question that you should ask yourself. So when someone posts, the same person abducted, why is if it is other people who are foreigners abducting the people? Why are they not abducting people randomly? They are only abducting anyone who talks ill or posts anything about William Ruto. So,
Brother Mankuyo, thank you so much for your for sharing your experiences with us. Whilst on this topic, let me ask Brother Carrington, as they've produced a website where you can interrogate the law. Brother Carrington, what's the state of the law in Kenya? Isn't production of images part of free speech? What does the law say?
Thank you very much, Brother Christian, Brother Pidgin, and our brother, and I think it's Brother Mankuyo. Welcome, welcome to CSG. I am not a lawyer myself, but I can ask I can ask the system and then share the answer.
Okay,
but,
we'll do that, and
yeah.
because we are interested in knowing what the law says.
Let me do that because
that's
from
fine.
a point of information,
yeah, that's fine. The other thing I wanted to ask Brother Mankuyo, in all you've said, so the state says they know nothing, they don't know who is abducting these people, but is the state finding out who is doing this to tell the people who is behind it? It's one thing to say you don't know who is doing it, but are they investigating who is doing it so they can let the Kenyan people know?
No, come Christian. They are the one who are abducting people. So they just came out of it.
Fine. Brother Mukuyo, assuming they are not the people, assuming they are not responsible for the abductions, assuming they are not, my question is, are the investigative institutions in Kenya trying to find out who is behind it?
Brother Kwame,
yes.
Just to clarify, the Inspector General of the Police said they have no persons claimed to be abducted in any of their police custody. The president, with the opposition leader yesterday, said he has listened to the people, he will stop or they will stop abduction. So actually the president, by saying he or they will stop abduction, only it that is aware of the abduction, but the abduction is not done within the Inspector General of Police Department. That's why the police head said that they don't have anybody in their custody. So it has come out clearly that they operationalize the special team that does abduction, report directly to the president. So they don't report towards the police department or anybody else. So the president actually confirmed by saying that they have listened to the people and they will stop abduction. That's what he said.
Okay, so has he stopped then?
He has not released the people who are abducted. So I don't know, stopping means he will not arrest anybody else, but he won't produce those who have been arrested or abducted before.
So those who have been abducted still remain abducted. Is that correct?
Still remain abducted.
Okay, well, we ask then in that case, we are calling on President Ruto to release abductees. We don't think it is in line with the Constitution of Kenya, and it's not in line with freedom of expression. And so we think that if they have done any wrong, they should be arrested and brought before the law in accordance with the rule of law. But abducting citizens is not in line with, I don't think it's in line with the Constitution of Kenya. So we will ask the president to please himself abide by the law, which is the Constitution of Kenya.
Brother Kwame?
Yes.
I was actually thinking of Brother Mankuyo just to give life experience to show what it takes or what some of the people go through, not only in Kenya, even in Nigeria, we realize Brother Kevin Anye was also taken through the same problem. And whatever I've mentioned here is the constitutional article of the Constitution of Kenya, Article 25 of the Constitution, that talk of fundamental rights and freedom that may not be limited. And the first freedom is freedom from torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. And abduction fits within the first premise of that constitution. So it's already a violation of the constitution.
Yeah, the state is violating the constitution of its own citizens. So, Brother Carrington, are you able to share, interrogate the website? So, Brother Pigeon, just hold on. Brother Carrington, are you able to share what the site is saying?
Yes, I can share.
Yeah, what is it saying?
Yeah, let me just share the screen.
Yes, you can. Whilst you're doing that, Brother Pigeon,
I've sent a request.
Yeah, just so you know, yeah, that's fine. Just so you know, Brother Mankuyo has shared his experience with us at length. I'm not sure what other experience you want him to share, but he has shared at length.
That's what I was interested in trying to be only short at least, but he has gone to
shared, he has shared at length his experience with us. Unless you think there is more to share, we're happy to listen.
Christian, I think from a pigeon has just asked another fundamental question. So he just asked practically what do people experience when they got arrested?
All right. Okay. Let's hold on.
I'm telling you that.
Mankuyo, hold on. Let Brother Carrington share on the screen some of the reasons you have been abducted. What does the site say? Yes, Brother Carrington. So Brother Carrington is sharing on the yes, Brother Carrington.
Yes. Sorry. Can you see?
Yeah, share it, and so we can all read. So
yes.
So this is what we have been told, that creating an image of the president in a casket could potentially be considered illegal in Kenya, depending on the context and intent behind the creation and distribution of such an image. Under Kenyan law, actions that are deemed to insult or demean the dignity of the president can be prosecuted under various legal provisions. And so the Penal Code, Section 132 of the Penal Code, the Cyber Crimes Act, which is a Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. There is a Defamation and Insult Laws, National Cohesion and Integration Act. Well, Brother Carrington has provided us with he's told us that he's not a lawyer, but this is what the site is telling us. We don't condone criminality ourselves. We don't encourage anyone to engage in illegal acts. But if there are clear laws in Kenya that says that you must not create images of the president in a casket, then we will advise our young people not to do that. They should themselves abide by the law. It doesn't mean the Kenyan authorities are right to arrest. Well, they're not arresting them because the police are not arresting them. It's a unit that is abducting people. If the young people, for whatever reason, because ignorance of the law is not an excuse, are not following the law, we don't think it's right for the state itself now not to be following the law. So I think what the state should do is to arrest them according to law and then prosecute them according to law.
So I've shared, yes, I've shared express Kenyan law against enforced disappearance. So this is the
and it's not legal for a person to be abducted by unknown persons associated with the state, regardless of the reason, including creating an image of the president in a casket. That's no reason to abduct anyone. So the fact that our children are making mistakes, even though they are illegal, doesn't mean you should be abducting them. And so, but the pigeon has said that the president says they will stop, which means those doing it, he claims, are reporting to the president. You can't just be abducting people. It's just not right. Sometimes our leaders, I don't know. Our leaders sometimes amaze us, the people. Anyway, let's take the opportunity. So thank you, brother Carrington. You can take that. Let's share the African anthem, and then we'll continue. So here is the African anthem. This is the AU anthem, by the way, which I want us to this is the African. I believe it's the Swahili version. So let's hear it. Thank you.
ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote, tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano, hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale.
Brother Kwame, the anthem must stop. Brother Kwame? Brother Kwame? Okay. Maybe Brother Kwame is experiencing some challenges, probably technical challenges. Then he'll be back, or he'll be able to continue. Brother Kwame, or if you can hear me. Brother Kwame?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to inform you that the anthem stopped abruptly and we could not be able to hear you. Proceed.
Okay.
You can proceed.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't aware that it stopped. Right. Let's proceed. So yeah, so we've heard from brother Mankuyo, and he's now going to share experiences on what happens when you are arrested. Is that correct, brother Mankuyo? What happens when you are arrested?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, brother Mankuyo.
Yeah.
We can.
So basically, I think, and also I've seen someone who have just posted some insight on the group, Kama Hachunde. So you just say from the narrative, to me, it's like a wrong strategy to conform authority against the existing law. What we need is helping our leaders and mindset, and I support their establishment. So basically, my brother, I think. Okay.
Just so you know, brother Kama will know a lot about what you are saying, because he was an ex-police officer, so he has experience on some of these things and what happens. So
okay. Let me continue. So, but I think if we talk with that way, then Sahel region will not be free like now they are enjoying the freedom of being an Africa, or being in Africa, the rich soil. So I think liberalism might as well. Okay, but anyway, my brother, we have undergone a lot. And I've said that we have been undergoing psychological torture, because you get torture. I don't know what even happened, because sometimes if you come out of those, if you come out, and it's not the first time. I wish if Brother Kamo was here. Sometimes there was a time that even Julius Kamo was released. I went, because on that day I was not arrested, but I went to help him to get free. I went to pay for him a cash bill. So imagine when he was released, he came out of the gate and started going to the wrong direction, that the opposite direction, instead of going to town. But he was just going. He just came out and started going from where he doesn't understand where he's going, where is the road leading him to. So and I asked him, why are you going this way? He told me, sometime when I came out of cells, sometimes I get some, I'll not be mentally okay. I'll just go anyhow. I'll just go to any direction. So it is really critical, and even it come to some an extent whereby I don't know if you will be mentally tortured. Like when you come out of those cells, and go for 2 days, you feel like maybe you are not comfortable, you don't want to stay alone. And also, even for some activists here, there is even a time that even some of them, they think to commit suicide. And that's what comes to the mind. So based on the harassment, based on the torture, physical torture that people go, because when you get arrested, it is two ways. It is either they put you on the boot of the Subaru car, or they put you on a police Land Cruiser. And when they put you in the Subaru, they'll take you to where they call to the headquarters of Directorate of Criminal Investigation. So they tell you when they take you there, they tell you to hold a placard that is written wanted. So they'll put your name on the same placard, and they'll tell you to hold the placard. They told you to write your ID on the placard so that you can your face can be seen when you are holding a placard that is written wanted. His name, your ID number, your identification number, sorry, the date of birth, and etc. So that's the first thing that they'll tell you. And also some of the things that I've experienced. Another thing is about you can't write a statement. You can record a statement when you are standing. You write a statement when you are when you are sitting on the floor. And you cannot raise a head, or even they can even sometime back when they arrested my first arrest, because it was very brutal. We were told to kneel down for 3 good hours, and if you sit, they'll come and start kicking you, or even telling you that will kill you. So basically, that was the first brutal arrest that I've never seen. Just imagine and being told to kneel down for 3 good hours. And they're just there, they're just laughing, they're just there drinking coffee, and you are recording a statement. You are being investigated, who is funding you. They think that when you go to the state, you are being funded. It is not because the feeling that you have toward the people, it's not the feeling that you have toward what is happening. So so when they pick you with a Subaru, I'm telling you, that's when you'll experience. But when they take you with a normal police civilian car, with a car with a police uniform, those police who own a police uniform, those people are not brutal. But the brutal people are the people who usually wear civilian clothes. And they are called the Directorate of Criminal Investigation Officers. Those are the DCI, just like an AVBI or Mossad I've mentioned, as I've mentioned earlier. So when they take you there, you'll be told to write a statement. Whoever funding you, you give out your number, your M-Pesa, who is funding you. They tell you that how much have you been given to come and protest. Do you think that you will win against the state? And they'll frustrate you. They even kill you mentally, because they told you that will kill you, or you don't survive. Just go and do your work. You can't do anything with the state. The state is strong, so you have to do nothing. It's only you. You will lose your life.
Yeah, Brother Mankuyo.
So those are, yeah. Hello, can you hear me? Pigeon.
Yeah, sorry, Brother Mankuyo. I get this interference every day. So, Brother Mankuyo, what have you done wrong? Why are you being treated like this by the state?
Yeah, I've only violated as they say that Article 37 of the Kenya Constitution allow people to express themselves.
Yes, I understand that. I'm asking you, what is it you have done for the state to treat you like
only
this?
Protesting, only protesting. That is the only crime.
Which is your democratic right.
It's a constitutional right.
Constitutional right.
Yeah.
So why do you think the state is being violent towards you just because you are expressing your democratic constitutional right?
Yeah, because they know what they have been doing. They know what they have been doing, and it is evil, and it's a crime against the people of Kenya. So that is the reason why they are afraid.
So
when someone
has anyone been brought to justice for doing this to you?
No.
So your constitutional rights are violated, and then the police get away with it.
Yeah, the police get away with it. Yeah,
And the Subaru drivers get away with it.
yeah, indeed.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Maybe
What the youth
may I
are
come
doing.
in?
Yes, brother, come on, hold on. Thank you, brother Mankuyo, for sharing with us what the youth are going through in some of the African countries. When we defeated colonialism, this is not what we envisaged.
I'm telling even you, comrade Christian. Sometimes you even think on how maybe someone even can think on how he can commit suicide.
I can
Sometimes
understand.
because you'll be mentally disturbed.
Yeah, I remember reading when I was in South Africa some time ago. I was in South Africa some time ago, and I remember reading what our brother went through when he was arrested by the apartheid police. Yeah, I'm talking of the brother who wrote I Talk of Freedom. Sometimes you kind of wonder. But anyway, brother Kama, you wanted to say, because you have experience of being a police officer.
I think I was trying to just to understand what our brother is saying, because in the first place I heard him that you see he's stressing going from one court case to another. Now, if that is the case, to me it means that actually the state pressed charges against wrongdoing. That is my understanding. And then I don't see how we accuse the state now of violating the rights of the individual. Now, one thing we need to understand is that our rights and privileges are not absolute. There is law that limits the rights and privileges of an individual. So as we advocate or as we become activists, let's be careful that we read the law, so that we don't go against the provisions of the law, so that we don't end up what I would call maybe pushing ourselves into the position of being victims carelessly. I want to believe Pan-Africanism should embrace advocacy, not activism. Because what we need is to help our leaders understand now the need for change in the way we govern our countries. Because the truth of the matter, see, they are in government, and these governments, they have laws that are put in place. I want to give an example of Burkina Faso. Even when we give an example of Burkina Faso as an example of a Pan-African, government now in making, believe you me that even there are laws. In that government, there are laws that should be respected. So let's not deliberately go against the laws, thinking we are fighting, for Africans. It would be dangerous.
Brother, let me stop you from there. But I think you are very liberal, my brother. Just come, because you are saying that you have to make your leader to understand. Tell Ruto to stop, to bring back the police who have been sent to Haiti. Tell him to bring. You even getting me to be emotional. You do know how many people have been killed in Kenya? Does it mean that the Ruto doesn't know how? Does it mean that Ruto doesn't understand how it means by someone to lose his life through a bullet? Is it necessary for him to shoot people in the street? Go and tell him, go and lecture me. I'm bored. You are getting to be temperamental. I've been experiencing things in the street, but you are talking in a very colonial caretaker mindset. Okay.
They just
Yes, brother Kama, are you still talking?
I
can't
was, but I was told to stop.
By who?
Who is this? I don't know.
Well, Brother Mankuyo was reacting to what you were saying.
No, brother Christian Stephen, brother Christian, you know that if you talk about the constitution, we are being, for example, the penal code, the constitution that we are using in Kenya, it was written by the British. It was written by the British. So I'm just asking this brother. He said that we have to tell our teachers of this of Pan-African. Does it? So it means that Ruto doesn't know after Haiti and protested against the police that have been sent to Haiti under the influence of the United States of America. Does it mean that he doesn't know what he was doing, or what is the impact of the Kenya police, or what is the impact of the USA in Haiti? Does it mean that Ruto doesn't understand the meaning of 65 lives who have been who have
Yeah. Yes, Brother Mankuyo, have you finished talking?
I think we have to be objective and, truthful.
Brother Kama. Brother
Yes,
Kama, we hear what you're saying, but this is a brother who has had a particular experience of the brutality of the new colonial state, and he's sharing his experience, and I don't think we can deny his experience. We hear what you are saying, but the new colonial state itself, as you would know, is a brutal institution, very brutal. It kills us. It maims us. It tortures us. It abducts us. It does bad things to us. So, I think what Brother Mankuyo is sharing with us is his experience. I think he's upset. He's left.
Can I just come in here?
Yeah, before you do so, Brother Howard, just pause, please. Brother Carrington, you wanted to say something, and then Brother Howard.
Thank you very much. I would really love to also add to this discussion. Who was the brother that was speaking? Was it Hachunde, Brother Kama Hachunde?
Brother Kama, yeah. So Brother Kama, as you know, is an experienced retired police officer.
Yes.
So he is speaking from his perspective
From the
as someone who has enforced the law.
Yeah.
And as you know, yes, people do break the law. And when they break the law, they have to face the law.
Yes.
But at the same time, so Brother Kama, just hold on. At the same time, we have people like Brother Mankuyo who are exercising their constitutional rights, who are being oppressed and suppressed, and they also have a right to be heard. So our interests today is our youth uprisings, and what our youth are going through, and the fact that our youth, some of us will be gone in no time. It's our youth who are going to be here after we are gone, and the continents are going to be in their hand. So we are discussing the role of the youth in the unification of Africa. And if it is the case that the youth are going to be oppressed, suppressed, silenced, if they call for unification of Africa, so is it going to be the case that when the youth are calling for Africa's unification, that they will be locked up, abducted, killed, and so on? So that is the question for us. Yes, Brother Carrington, carry on.
Yes, thank you very much, Brother Christian. Brother Kama, thank you very much for your point. It is well taken, and I recognize your point that there needs to be order for there to be society. I accept that. I would like to, however, address your points directly. First, on your point of advocacy against activism. I would invite you to just consider, because this has been well documented in international media and local media in Kenya and East African media, the parliamentarians who started this finance bill that brought trouble to Kenya, they were approached by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and were asked that this finance bill, the tax rates are too punitive and will reduce industrial activity in Kenya. To which the chair of the Finance Committee of Parliament said very clearly in the media that the manufacturers can go manufacture in Uganda, as if Kenya has 100% employment rate, 150% employment rate. Various lawyers groups, various human rights groups asked these women's groups, asked these parliamentarians to reduce the tax on pads, to reduce the tax on baby oil products. The parliamentarians repeatedly and persistently rejected all these approaches. People went to the media for an entire week. People looked for the numbers of the phone numbers of the parliamentarians themselves. They were texted by several million Kenyans. Everyone texted their constituency MP. They refused. And then Kenyans joined the streets. The joining of the streets, and Brother Pigeon will attest to this, Brother Mankuyo will attest to this, was a last resort. Nobody enjoys leaving their work, their duty to join the street to protest against poor
So,
leadership.
Brother Carrington,
We don't.
Brother Carrington, before you continue, so you're saying that thus far they have exercised their constitutional right. Is
Yes.
that what you're saying? All right, continue.
So not only that, they started with advocacy.
Yes.
Kenyans
So,
started with advocacy. It is
yeah.
very important, but they were ignored and overwritten by the president and the
Yeah, but you see, what we are interested in here is the constitution.
And they have a constitutional right
Right,
to protest.
and that's what they have exercised.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes. It does
continue.
not. The right to protest in Kenya does not depend on any police officer, army officer, or the president, or any leader. The right to protest is enshrined in our constitution. So that, I hope that is clear. Second point, I would really love to invite our elders in the disciplined forces. As young Africans, and I'm not even a young African, the average age in Africa is 18 and 19. I'm not that young, but young Africans are getting frustrated with the disciplined forces in their respective countries. It is becoming increasingly clear that the job of the disciplined forces is not to protect us against external aggression, is to protect the political class from the aggression of the power.
Brother Carrington. Hold on. Hold on. Brother Carrington.
Yes.
Brother Carrington.
Yes.
A force that abducts its citizens is not a disciplined force. I mean, let's be clear.
Oh, thank you. That's another point. It is a criminal force, similar to the criminal force that was in operation in Haiti before the citizens got angry and formed their own protection gangs, collapsing the government of Haiti. Okay, so this will end up predictably in one way. A criminal government will result in a criminal citizen. So I would really love to invite our disciplined forces, and especially the professional disciplined forces in Africa. You're not beholden to politicians. You are not beholden to the political class. The order of society does not come from the political class. It comes from the constitutions of these various republics. And we need to start thinking about how we can function as independent institutions. Thank you.
Brother Carrington, thank you. You've basically made the point that, so Brother Kama, they did start with advocacy. They were ignored. They then exercised their constitutional rights. They were ignored. Then the state now is abducting them. And that's the point Brother Carrington is making. And Brother Carrington, who you know very well, is also, a member of our ideological class, and he's a very highly educated and very intelligent man. And so, yes, Brother Kama, Brother Pigeon, do apologize on behalf of CSG to Brother Mankuyo, because I think he left, he was emotionally upset and left. Let him know that these things happen. Whatever his experience, he will be challenged depending on the forum in which he goes. So we want you to be emotionally strong and to respond to people, whoever they are, on the facts. We share his frustration, we share his emotions, we share his sadness. We don't agree with what he's been through. We don't think he should have been through what he's been through. But when he's in different fora, people will react differently. And we need him to be strong and to be an advocate on our behalf. Because at the end of the day, we want an Africa that protects the rights of its citizens. So please apologize to him on our behalf. Okay. Right. So Victor had his hand up before Nkrumah. So let Brother Victor share his thoughts.
Okay. Can you get me clearly?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to also make a comment regarding what has been discussed earlier today. I've been listening from the first speaker to now just the concluded talk the submission made there. And I'm recognizing one thing that however much we're going to be there is a need for embracing advocacy. Also, some of us we always identify ourselves as activists, but entirely for Africa to be where it is, or we need for us to have a true change we really need in Africa. It has to approach economic liberation and the liberation of the mindset. Because sometimes even the people who we call ourselves, sometimes I can call myself Pan-Africanist, but I'm holding to nationalistic agenda more than the Pan-Africanity agenda. So sometimes when somebody talk about Ghana in a situation, I might not even find a good interest to contribute to it. But when it comes to Kenya, I feel I'm an activist on that. But entirely, nations are built based on policies, and policies are a reflection of our convictions, and a conviction is more of our motivation. So if our leaders are motivated by more money, more investment here, it means that what the policies that are going to be translated in this country is only going to be open-ended towards profit making and not necessarily vested on the authority of the people. And that is what I was like saying that contextually, in terms of the context of Africa now, the youths are like we are so many. The demographic pressure is getting higher and higher, and there's no solution that is going to come out from the religion, political class. It's only going to come from Pan Africanism, and the Pan Africanism is going to come from is a structured Pan Africanism that is beyond tribal political because our political leaders they're a product of a system that has failed. Even if today there's somebody who want to be a president in Kenya, tomorrow you'll be a product of that same system. Yeah. So he is going to be a product of a system, policies, history that has failed already. Yeah, they're a product of that system. So even if it's going to be there, even today, let's say that I'm given the chance to be the president of Kenya, the authority that it comes with is more than personality issue. It is based on policies and laws and frameworks that he himself is tied to that you cannot even go beyond. So what I know that in Africa we need to redefine our structural approach to unity from a point of systematic design, which means there are four things that you're going to be talking about Africa. One is that the structural economic transformation of Africa, which has to come from the agricultural point of view, yeah, define that on a very foundational way. The extraction of Africa, minerals and resources, how do we localize that? Because they are never connected directly to our economy, is a fact. Then also look at the manufacturing part of Africa, which means if we're able to produce, extract in Africa and remanufacture in Africa, there's power in that. But unfortunately, everything is never connected directly to our economy. They are taken to other continents. Then the consumption part or the consumption part of Africa. Today, 95%, go to any African market, Nairobi, even now I go to Nairobi here, 95% of the goods there are are from other countries, and it means that we are producing nothing. And for us to counter this as youths in Africa, we need to humanize our economy, connect value, because we are becoming more younger, our labor productivity is becoming more low, and we're becoming to be consuming more. So we need to have a very different approach, especially when we talk about because if you're going to be fighting, feeling like we are in the fighting mode with the politician, that is what makes them happy. like this is something like conditioned so that the moment we make them, they feel like they're in control. But if we come back, readjust, re-strategize systematically, with an approach that is beyond what they are going to be doing, we can do something. So what I say is that every time and again, when you talk about the unity of Africa, is beyond emotions, is beyond what I can do alone, is about us and talking about Africa as a whole. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Victor. So, Victor, thank you so much. So, Victor has kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of African unification. You recall that Brother Howard raised the issue of economics. Brother Nkrumah then picked it up, and then we asked them to wait for Brother Pigeon to do his presentation on the young people who he did, and now Brother Victor has also picked it up. So I think we should go into that discussion. What I'm taking from Brother Victor's presentation is that the economic liberation that was meant to take place after the political liberation is the problem now, and that has not happened, and it is still not happening. And so, if just briefly, if we recall, before 1957, the entire African continent, except I think 8 countries, Egypt, Ethiopia, Liberia, maybe South Africa, and other countries, about 8 of them on the continent, they were the only free countries on the continent. Yeah, the rest of the continent was under colonial rule, either French, Britain, Portugal, and so on. Yeah, and then came the Pan-African movement, starting from 1902 all the way to 1945 Manchester in the UK. Yeah, then out of that came the Kenyattas and the Nkrumahs and the Bandas and so on, who then went to the continent to fight for the liberation of Africa. Okay, that political liberation then took place, and Ghana was the first in 1957, followed by other countries until 1994 in South Africa. Now, the idea was that political liberation was then to lead to economic liberation, which are the things that Brother Victor is mentioning. You know, how we produce, what we produce, where we produce, from whom we produce. Those basic economic questions were then meant to be addressed. Unfortunately, our leaders, some of them have gone to sleep, others were killed, and so on and so forth. So we are now in a situation where the reason we took back political power has still not been achieved. We have balkanized states across the continent, and there's just confusion. You know, whereas at the same time, let's give it to them, there is an African Union, there's an African continental free trade area, and so on and so forth. But we don't see a continental leadership. You know, the same way as Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah led the liberation of Africa, and then he then followed up with the unification of Africa. Gaddafi tried to do that, and they murdered him. So that is where we are. And the young people are in a situation where a lot of them are unemployed because we haven't solved the economic problem. You see, so that is where we are. And from what Brother Victor is saying, from what I'm hearing from what he's saying, is that the young people of today, that is where they must focus their mind, the economic liberation. You see, and that's my understanding. Fighting the state is okay, but that is part of it. But let's focus on economic liberation. The final comment I want to make, and then let's bring in Brother Kafra, Brother Howard, and others, is that whereas what Kenyans did when they didn't like the finance bill, as Brother Kant has explained, was from advocacy to then protest and so on. What they did in Ghana was they didn't go on protest as such, you know, mass protest. They just went to their homes and waited for the election day, and they voted out the government. That's what they did. So when the Kenyans youth were protesting, some youth in Ghana also started they wanted to start similar protest in Ghana, and they they agreed on where to meet, and the youth never went. So we didn't have a similar type uprising of the youth. In Ghana, their version was they just voted out the government. So the government, the ruling government, has lost power. They've lost parliamentary seats. The opposition now has about 75% of, or 66 2/3, that's 66% of parliamentary control, and have won the presidency. So that is how in Ghana they did it. They didn't go down the youth uprising. They just changed the government. So anyway, let me pause there. I'm just trying to put in context what we are discussing, which is the role of the youth in the economic liberation and economic unification of Africa. Thank you. Brother Nkrumah, please share your thoughts.
Yes, good day, everyone. Okay, I have been listening to what everyone has had to say. And one of the first thoughts that came to my mind is that, and the people suffered for lack of knowledge. That's one of the first thoughts that came to my mind. Let us understand what life is about. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. You're standing at an intersection and you want to cross the road, right? And the traffic light changes to red. And all the vehicular traffic is supposed to stop. It's your turn to cross. So there you go, crossing the road. And out of nowhere, this car or truck breaks the red light and kills you. And you were correct. You were doing the right thing. You were following the law, were you not? However, you have to understand that you were not only right to cross the road at that time, you were also dead right. So in what you're dealing with is not about, I mean, of course you have to take right and wrong into the situation, but we are living in a very evil, wicked, satanic system. And if you don't understand that, you will continue talking about, well, it's my right to protest. And the law says it's our constitutional right to take to the streets and we could do this and do that. All of that does not help. You will never find me protesting on any road, not because I agree with what the government is doing, but because I know that protest does not really change anything. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but that's who disagree with you, brother. And the example you gave is extreme. Is where somebody dies.
I am not saying that
But
nobody. Everything is of value.
I understand. But what I'm saying is, we understand what you're saying. The example you've given, we've heard it, is extreme. People don't always die because
I give extreme examples to make the point. Because if I don't, you're not going to really understand.
Yeah, but there are people, Brother Kafra, who exercise their right to protest, and they don't get killed by their governments.
Yeah, but they also don't really do anything.
They do. They do.
Well, okay. In other words, they don't achieve much. As we have realized, Africa is still going down. It is still a mess. The youth are confused. And what is going to happen? As a matter of fact, those that want to wipe us off the planet want the youth to get vexed so that they could get your government, police, and military to mow you down in the streets. It's a plan. Okay? So we have to come up, we have to do better than what we're doing here. Okay, it's not about, in other words, the example I gave you with crossing the red light is not about being right. It is about being wise. And if I could stay home on the phone and in 10 minutes make $1 million, why, in the right way, I'm not doing anything illegal, why should I think that I have to go out there and kill myself and without a family?
Yeah, but brother Nkrumah, I mean, you see, the example you gave, yes, you said you wanted to make a point, but remember, you didn't tell us the motive of the truck or the driver that hits the person who was crossing the road when the light was green. I mean, was the truck driver deliberately? What did he hold on? Did he deliberately want to kill the guy following the law, or was it an accident?
Okay, there are no accidents. For the point I am making, that is not important. For the point I am making, it is not important. And there are some people that think, like the brother that spoke that was in jail and all that kind of stuff, think that as a revolutionary, you have to go through all of this suffering. And if you don't make jail, you're not a true revolutionary and all that kind of stuff. That's not true. Because I would prefer, in other words, I see what is wrong in society and I want to fix it, and I'm genuinely sincere about fixing it. I prefer to stay home and do my rituals.
Yeah, but that's your choice, brother.
Brother,
that's your choice. Hold on, brother Kafra, that's your choice.
No, let him finish.
Hold on. You will speak, but just hold on. Brother, that is your right. There are many ways to protest. We agree with you. And
it's not just our right. It is our culture.
Different people.
Our spirituality.
Brother, different people.
And our voodoo is our culture. So we are not using our weapons to fight, and that's why we are going to fail.
Yeah, but brother Kafra, hold on. I'm saying that your position, hold on.
Mine. Just our ancestors' way of doing things.
Brother Nkrumah, hold on. Your way of protesting, as you've mentioned, is your legitimate right, and you have a right to do that. Different people protest in different ways.
It's our ancestors' way of doing it. It's not my way. This is not personal.
Yeah.
We are constantly trying to use the European way of doing things and then wonder why we're failing. Let us wake up.
Yeah. Can I just come in here?
Hold on, brother Nkrumah. You can't say that protests is a European way. But anyway, finish what you were saying so we can hear from Brother Simon.
To do our spiritual rituals. As we said, the people suffered because of lack of knowledge. And God is trying to show us to return to our way, not my way.
Which God, brother?
Which God?
The Muslim God, the Christian God, the African God, which one? Come on, brother.
Could I please finish?
Yeah, please do.
Our minds are so Europeanized, we can't even see the simple thing that I'm talking about. All the efforts, it's the way of the European. We need to do it our way, the spiritual way. We have a spiritual problem, not an economic problem. I'm not saying we shouldn't get into economics and do business and stuff, but let's do it the spiritual way.
And what is that?
I'm telling you, your rituals, your voodoo rituals. Stay home and do your voodoo rituals and deal with the situation out there. So when you're going to Parliament, you could be chanting. Let me finish. We could be chanting something and change the vote.
Thank you, brother. The time is 10 to 8. We only have 10 minutes left, and we have 2 hands up. We haven't heard from others. So, Brother Nkrumah, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, Brother Simon. So there are Africans who believe that we need a borderless Africa. Africa must be borderless, and so they have also been doing a lot of work. to remove the borders of Africa. And Brother Chibi, Simon Chibi is one of them. So Brother Simon, share with us your thoughts and where are the youth in this movement? Thank you.
Brother.
Brother Simon, we can't hear you.
Everybody. How are you?
We can't hear you very well.
Everybody. Yes, my thinking is that I'm not sure whether I can be heard by everybody. I can continue.
Simon, we can't hear you very well. But try and speak. Let's see. I'll let you know if we can hear you. Okay.
Let him move a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, my brother.
Move a bit if that will help. Yeah. Just change your position. See if that will help. Yeah. No, we can't. Oh. We can't. Brother Simon, we can't hear you at all. I think your position changed.
You can get me? Hello. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, yes. Yeah, speak, let's see. If we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, my only thing I want to contribute here, my brothers and sisters, is that we assume that we are liberated, we are independent when we are not. That is the main challenge we are having in Africa. So that we are saying now, for example, we are saying Zimbabwe is liberated or Kenya is liberated, while we are not yet liberated. Because when we were colonized, the political boundary which was there, it's a colonial boundary which is there, which divided Kenya, and that makes the economics or the industries to be so much limited and divided. So that the youth today, they think that we are the independent in our country, but we have the colonial boundary which is still there. That was a political thing which was not removed. So the issue is, let's have the eyes to see. Let's have the eyes to see where we are going, to see where we are coming. If we say we want independence, let us be independent as a country or as a continent. Because once Zambia is not independent, Zimbabwe cannot be independent. Once Kenya is not independent, Uganda cannot be independent. So this is where we are trying to drive home. So the youth who are there, because of this thinking that we are independent while we are not, will also make sure that those youth who are so vibrant, who have the potential to lead, they are killed before they can realize their goals, because they are trying to do what they should not do in a colonized state. They are thinking it's an independent state while we are colonized state. So that's where the mentality needs to be changed, so that whatever we do as youth or as people to make sure we revive ourselves, we have growth in economics, we should first understand, are we independent or not? If the colonial boundary is there, which divide Kenya and Zambia, which divide Kenya and Tanzania, which divide Kenya and Uganda, then you say Kenya is independent. Where is the independence? So this is where we have to fight, and our youth have to make sure we are living in a neo-colonialist where we term the independent, you are independent while you are not. This is where we are having a problem.
All right, thank you.
So we will continue to kill each other because of that. We assume we are independent while we are not. Those political leaders who are there, they are taking the role which they should not take to try and perpetuate the constitution, which we don't want.
Okay, Brother Simon.
Everybody should love to change the fallout. Yes.
Thank you very much. Before you stop talking, what is the role of the youth in economic liberation? We agree with you that we live under neo-colonialism. What is the role of the youth uprising in economic liberation?
Yes, the youth, they are very important. They are the leaders of tomorrow. They have to see today what is our main problem is the neo-colonialism. While that is there, for them to do uprising, the constitution which they think they are giving them the mandate to uprise or the mandate to march or that one, there are clauses which will be used because remember, the armed forces or the security forces in any country, they follow orders. They don't think. Even if they know we are going to do wrong, but they are at work to get paid at the end of the month. So they are taking an order to do a wrong thing because they are colonized, they are still under colonism. They are not thinking what they are doing. So this is the role when the youth now they want to do a good thing, while they know somebody is ordering a bad thing to happen. Why can't we just restrain from doing the good thing, which will result in killing our potential leaders for tomorrow? Then we resort to trying to make sure we do the good thing, which is not going to split us or to have half of ours or 1/3 of our youth dying, who has the potential to continue and also to perpetuate Pan-Africanism. So this is what we want. Let's have the youth that thinking so that we have the goal we are going forward. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, thank you, my brother, as well. So Brother Simon is saying basically that our youth think that Africa is independent, yet it's under new colonialism. Brother Nkrumah thinks we need to open our eyes spiritually.
5 seconds. Could I respond to what the brother just said quickly?
Yeah, but can you hold on before you do that? Let's hear from Brother Carrington. Thank you.
Yes, just very quickly.
Brother
I'm
Howard
sorry to take up time, but I have to respond to Brother Kwame. First, we are materialists. We believe that the problems Africa is facing are material and to be solved by material decisions rather than spiritual ones.
Yeah, Brother Carrington. Yeah, but you know the others who disagree. They think they are spiritual.
But this is our position. This is why we are on the street.
Well, thank you for making our position clear.
Yes,
Brother Kafra, I hope you are listening.
Yes. Second, and more important, I would like to remind Africans that protest, of course, is also very, very African. There have been several tyrants in Africa who have been impeached or removed by their people through protest and even violent insurrection. For example, Sunni Ali in the Empire of Songhai was removed by the scholars of Timbuktu. Kwajuan revolution in Ghana of the Ashanti Empire was impeached by his own people because he was a poor leader. The push for governance reforms in Africa is as old as Africa itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kafra. And then we need to hear from Sister Shaza before we go.
So, based on what the brother just said there, I want him to understand that spirituality encompasses everything. That is why in Haiti...
That is your view. Brother Nkrumah, that is your view. Brother Carrington has made clear that is not, hold on, that is not the position of CSG.
Let me say what I have to say.
Hold on. Our position is that materiality encompasses everything, not spirituality. We don't deny spirituality, but for us, it does not encompass everything. Thank you.
But the physical is part of the spirit. Anyhow, let me go with the first thing I wanted to say. Independence is a word that has no objective reality because we live in a world that is interrelated and interdependent. So they have us fill up with all of these words that have no objective reality and taking us astray. You could never be independent of everything because we depend on each other. So we need to focus on that dependence and interrelationship and make it right. And stop thinking about, oh, well, we are independent. No country in this world is independent of any other country. No individual in this world is independent of anything else going on in the world. All right? And it's very important for us to understand that spirituality encompasses every aspect of life. If you want to take it from the physics and the scientific perspective, I could explain that too, but I wouldn't go into that now.
Have you finished? Okay.
Thank you.
Brother Kafra, I think you should come back to our Thursday classes so that we can have these discussions, because the discussion you want to have are philosophical. So that's fine, as long as come to our class so we can continue to discuss. So the time is 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We've come to the end of today's session. Thank you all for coming. But I think we should hear from Sister Shaza before Brother Pigeon makes the announcements, and then we go. Sister Shaza, please, let's have the privilege of hearing your voice. Thank you.
Yeah, greetings, everyone. It's a really good discussion this evening. Some very valid points made. To be honest, I quite agree with what Nkrumah said regarding spirituality. I think collectively it's something that we should all be practicing to address the evil powers, that is presiding over us and preventing us from, moving on. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay. The second thing I wanted to say, and I'm not wishing death on anyone, but that image of Ruto in the coffin, for me, it's a board suit that was cut to fit him, right? And he looked really comfortable in it. So yeah, I don't agree with the violence or anything, but those police officers are inflicting violence against the youth. So yes, that board suit fitted Ruto. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah, thank you, my sister. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice on these things. Thank you so much, brother Pigeon. Announcements, and we can go. The time is 8:02. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, comrades. I never knew the conversation would take this direction, but we allowed it to flow as it was moving. Of course, we thank you, Brother Kwame, for having the control so that you could maneuver the meanders and the flows of the conversation so that you could head to where we are. Comrades, we are not actually. We have always been a forum and a platform where people are free to share their thinking. And we will still maintain that you are free to share your thinking. And we thank everybody who has come out to share the thinking. The purpose of this actually is what Brother Kwame had said. The purpose of this conversation is for us to gauge what it has to take for the liberation, unification, and development of Africa. We've realized the sacrifices that the young people have made. We saw the challenges that they are going through. There's some IT aspect that they are having. After this is our own thinking and setting up and look at it and say, okay, this is what we are learning from neo-colonial states. How can we improve on it so that we can still attain our goals? We don't forget what they did to Nkrumah, what they did to Sankara and everything else, and we know they are capable of doing that, and they're doing it in Kenya and the rest of the continent. So we are actually looking forward to see how we can do better and ensure that we can actually still overcome these forces. Thank you very much for this conversation. If you feel more of heart, annoyed or whatever, know it was free to share their thinking, and don't take it to heart. Just work out on it and see how we can improve together towards a better continent. We are going to have the recordings of this week available by next week, Tuesday probably, and all the recording of past weeks are available, and next week we'll continue the Kiswahili on Tuesday. And our Thursday philosophy never stops. It's always there on Thursdays as we continue to analyze Aristotle's conversation. Somebody was telling me, why do you talk of old philosophers like Aristotle? Why do you read Aristotle every day and then? Just be reminded, we read a book, a paragraph by paragraph, and these are thoughts that are put to us so that we can see them and find a way how we can walk away with them. The good thing is Nkrumah take us to them and help us walk out of them. So let's look towards that on next Thursday. And in advance, I'll wish you maybe Happy New Year according to their calendar, which is of course not our calendar, if you have to retain that. And let's meet again this coming Thursday, Saturday, and even Tuesday, any of them. Thank you very much for your time. Brother Kwame?
Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, that's it. So have a nice Happy New Year, everyone. And